Pisces energy. It is March 19th, although these messages are always timeless. If you participated in the pick a card yesterday, these are your reveals. If you did not, stay. You are always welcome to be here, and here's why. If you find this, I believe it is not by accident. It is not by mistake. So that said, if you missed yesterday's pick a pile and you did not select one, do it now. Just think about your intention, think about your question, think about that burning topic that's on your mind, and decide, is it going to be one? Is it going to be two? Is it going to be both, to get your messages and your answers to those questions today? Please go ahead and drop it here in the comments, drop the hearts, do all the things. I always say that, not only does that help me, but it also helps you, because what it's doing is it is essentially, I gotta flip these cards over because they're already talking to me. It is essentially infusing this experience with your energy. So by you engaging, the more energy you pour into this, the more you receive. And you know what? I'm sitting here wondering why I feel so off. And I don't have my rings on. I took my rings off to start cooking dinner and wanted to come live while it's in the oven. And I'm like, why do I feel weird? My rings are off. Hi, Tracy. As you're coming on, please come in and say hi so that I know comments are working. Half the time I get on here, I don't see them until I get off because my phone did not show them to me. So I do have it pulled up here behind me on the computer, but I want to make sure that I'm able to see all of you and see what is going on. So that said, say hi as you're coming in. I want to jump right into this for those watching on a replay. If you are watching on a replay, drop your number here that you're claiming in the comments and let's dive in. Okay, message number one, and I love this one because, first of all, before I get to that, let me just tell you where we're at. Yesterday was a new moon in Pisces. Today tomorrow, where are we at? March 19th. Tomorrow we have Mercury going direct. Okay, we're still in that Mercury retrograde. Hey, Tracy, thank you so much. So we have Mercury going direct. We have Aries season kicking off. We have the equinox, the spring equinox. We have so many things happening. There's 4 planets currently in Pisces. Venus is going to do a little swerve through Aries and Pisces. So we're kind of like in this very heavy Pisces season right now, even as it trickles out and ends. So as we shift into Aries season, and this is interesting because it came up in a private reading I did yesterday, is be mindful because we are going from water into fire. And if you know anything about the elements, which I am an elemental intuitive, I work with the elements, I judge everything in my life by the elements. The elements are such a big part of our experiences, of our journeys. Water is like the emotional, okay? It is also the intuitive, but it's the emotional. Fire is that ambition, action, okay? Be mindful, not just for yourself, but what you're watching happening in the spaces around you over the next couple of days is people are moving into that fiery, bold, take action energy, immediately following that deeply feeling, deeply intuitive, deeply water energy. So some of that trickles. There's not really a transition point, okay? Aries in the zodiac or in, astrology is also known as the new year, right? So this is where we're ready to step forward into action. And at the same time, that emotional, intuitive, feeling things out in order to release them in Pisces season as we close out a year. Okay, so just think about that. If tomorrow is kicking off equinox, Aries season, all the things, and this is your new year, and you're like, I'm getting a little crazy here. I might need to rein it in a little bit. It's not just you. You're coming out of a deeply emotional, deeply intuitive phase or period. So just know that and what you're watching in the people around you. If people are seeming a little intense, a little bold, but emotionally bold, depending on how you use that energy to move forward with this, it can come off a little emotionally reactive or emotionally responsive, right? And I'm not going to get into the difference of that, but just I'm getting that message really clear right now is knowing where we are in this transition, right? Because, I should say there's not a big transition period, but knowing where we're at in the cosmic energy and the cosmic flow of things, knowing how we feel and understanding that, I'm going to say it how it is because this is what's coming through. Not everyone on the planet has high emotional IQ. Okay? Not everyone in our lives have emotional intelligence. So when you are navigating these next few days this week, especially with it being in a new moon energy, new moon is that like going inward, setting setting your intentions for new beginnings. Don't be surprised if you're seeing people just like emotionally reacting to things, okay? Because remember, we're kind of going from emotion into fire, and fire can get a little, I don't want to say dangerous, but it can get a little intense when it's fueled by emotion, okay? So just keep that in mind. For some of you, it's really going to stand out. I mean, even if you're not really like big into astrology, you're going to see and feel the cosmic energies playing out over the next couple of days. It's not to scare you. What this is hi Debbie. What this is it is awareness. It is just us who show up and do this work, right? And we do tap in and we do try to understand this, for us to have that awareness, for us to know that we need to be using our emotional IQ despite other people maybe not having it, right? So just keeping that in mind. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was like 70 degrees last week where I am today. I don't know. It was like 30. I'm so cold. My nose is red. I'm all pink. I feel like even our own seasons can't figure out. It's like that time of year where the season can't figure out what it wants to be right now. Is it spring? Is it summer? Is it winter? It's all three in 1 week. Gosh, I don't know. It was like Monday or Tuesday we had a tornado warning, and it was like 66 degrees and rainy, and the following day it was snowing and like 29 degrees outside less than 24 hours later. So that's the vibe we're in right now. So my body is like, what is going on? Oh, 78 near you today, Debbie. Rub it in. No. I know, and I was talking to Jess and it was like 107 degrees the other day near her. It's just crazy. So all right, all that said, so we're going through this kind of like roller coaster, and I'm watching this, I'm getting this visual of a figure eight, like a that infinity sign, where it's just kind of going back and forth, it's like looping over and over and over. For right now, we're going to get out of it. We're going to break the loop. We're going to break out of that wheel. Just give it a couple of days for people to settle in between water and fire and to really find their footing. I want you to think, I hope this is for somebody, because the image I'm getting is like Ariel, when that Disney movie, when she like comes up out of the water and her hair like flips back, right? And you see that like stream of water, and it's like she is coming up out of the water for the first time, bright red, fiery hair, fiery energy, right? She's ready to like go at this human life. And she steps out and she has no idea what she's doing. Like her bare feet touching the ground. Like, I don't know why this is the analogy. If this is for you, you're going to have to, like, the last time I watched that, I was maybe 12. I don't know. Besides maybe watching it with my kids, but I'm getting this image through the Little Mermaid of like Ariel coming up out of the water, and that like bold, I'm ready to take action and I've got this, and coming from that emotional place into the earth, up to surface to become a human, and she has no idea what she's doing, right? She's like trying to find her footing, finding that solid ground before she, the rest is history then. But just bear that in mind, that as you're coming out of the water, stepping into this new year, right, in the Aries season and this kind of new moon, everything is brand new right now, but we are being fueled with that fiery Aries energy that we want to just take charge and take action and like go full steam ahead, but we're still kind of like dusting or drying off, I should say, from the water energy. So just know that as you're transitioning into Aries season, a lot of fire is coming up. I can't stress this enough. Be mindful. Emotional intelligence, emotional IQ is very important right now. It's important for us to check in and go, okay, is this an emotional reaction or an emotional response? Or even in those in other people. Also, I'm hearing, and this is kind of for everybody, do not take anything personally right now. Because it's just not. Nothing's personal right now. It really never is. It's usually always about the other person. And at the same time, just be mindful. Like, you can set a boundary and not deal with that because they're going through their own emotional reaction versus a response. So keeping all of that in mind, that's kind of the current energy that we are in right now. So just stay open, stay curious, stay aware, stay mindful. If you're seeing it happening around you, that's what it is. That's what it is. I see some new people hopping in. Come say hi as you jump in. These are the card reveals, which I didn't get to the cards yet. These are the card reveals from our Pick a Card yesterday. If you did not choose a card yesterday, please stay. Please choose one now. The answers are 1, 2, or both. So ask your question, set your intention, do all the things that you want to do with yourself, and then drop it in the comments here. Do you choose 1? Do you choose 2? Do you choose both? And hang out. All right. Card number 1, I'm ready. So card number 1 says, I surrender to the power of prayer and devotion. It is card number 30. If you are someone that, I'm hearing this right away, if you are someone that is triggered by religious words like devotion and prayer, I'm inviting you to please stay and hear me out. If you want to go ahead and screenshot that, I know you, those of you that are on all the time, you're probably tired of hearing this. I'm aware the picture is in reverse on the screen. What you do is you screenshot, and in your camera roll, you can flip it in the crop settings. Before I can even give the message with this, I have to tell you, some of you are like triggered by the words prayer and devotion. And if that is you, they're asking you to please stay and just hear the message, okay? I always say this like using terminology loosely here because it's gonna fit into every person differently, okay? So if it's manifestation, if it's meditation, if it's prayer, whatever it is for you, the prayer is really like the asking, right? And the so that's like the manifestation, the speaking your words, writing it down in a journal, setting your intentions. That's like the prayer to me, okay? And the meditation is the listening, the receiving. That is like your answered prayer, right? Listening for the answers when you're asking for them. Breathing, right? Getting grounded and trusting and giving space for all of that to come to you. So trusting in the power of this right now. Some of you, most of you that chose this card you have a habit of wanting to do it all on your own. And gosh, I'm laughing because some of these messages coming through from some of your guides, and you know this if you had a private reading with me, when I get your sassy guides, I am like, here we go. Here we go. Some of you have a habit of wanting to do everything on your own. And your guides are saying to you, and I say this a lot to people, like, don't give yourself so much credit. Not when things go wrong and not when things go right. We are in a co-creation, a co-collaboration with Creator, Source, God, Universe. Again, use the terminology that lands for you and your truth. What that means is you're trying to handle everything on your own. You're forgetting that there is this greater aspect of you, this greater aspect to you that lives within you that you can tap into and surrender to, okay? Surrender to the asking. This is something, and everyone can take this message, your guides, whether we call them ancestors, angels, spirit guides, guardian angels, call them what you wish. I like to say your divine support team. Your divine team is here for you. And you're human, so you have free will. You have free agency, which means as much as your divine team is here guiding you, they cannot intervene without your permission because of free agency. Now, well, let me not say cannot. Usually will not, right? Sometimes spirit is going to jump in and be like, detour. We're not going there. We're going to let you go to as far as you can until you go too far. We're not going to let you fall off the cliff. But what I mean by that is they are there for you, but you're not asking. You're not, I just keep hearing this, like asking, ask for help, ask for support, ask for your answers to come through. And you will be surprised when you then stay open to receiving it. So I get this a lot, and I'm not sure why this is coming through specifically, but it's going to be for some of you. Oh, Aries season and menopause. Oh, yes, girl. Lord help you for real. I hear you. For some of you, it's about like messages from past loved ones or like synchronicity. So for me, I have been so deep in this work for, I guess, a decade now. I still, when I see 333, 444, 1111, 888, I'm like, oh, 888, oh, look, 1111. I'm still today the person that is like, look at the moon. Look, there's an angel member over there. I still get lit up by the magic of it all. I romanticize everything in my life because I get to, okay? And I have been accused of toxic positivity, love and light, fluff, and all the things because I choose to romanticize my life. That doesn't mean I don't feel hard things. It doesn't mean, that I don't go through the shadow, and we're going to get there in message number 2. But it doesn't mean that I don't experience those things. It just means that I choose to find the glimmers in my life, to romanticize my life. When I am stirring my morning cup of coffee, I am, call it what you wish, but I'm stirring it 3 times clockwise and speaking my affirmations because, hey, maybe it's superstition, maybe it's real. But the power of my belief and my intentions is that if I do that, it's health, it's wealth, it's all the things I desire, right? So I'm doing these things. I am romanticizing all of it. I'm sitting there in the peace and the quiet, taking my first sip. I'm tasting my first sip. My eyes might be closed. I'm so deep into the excitement of it, the magic of it, and I never allow that to leave. I'm immersed in the gratitude of it, okay? That is really what the message is here for you, because a lot of times I'll hear people say, I wish those things happened for me. I wish I received messages from my mom, my dad, or my so-and-so who has passed. And my answer is always the same. You are. You are. You are just not knowing how to listen, how to receive them. And all that is required in order to do that is for you to just take a pause and look for the magic in these little moments. It's like micro magic in micro moments, right? And, I'm just hearing that a lot of you might be a lot in your head. Gosh, like some of these messages are overlapping a lot with my messages from yesterday. So maybe some of those are watching too. But like a lot up in your head and forgetting that there's this other part of you, this greater part of you connected to consciousness, connected to source that is within you, and you get to use it, right? That's the magic of the divine, is that you get to tap into this, you get to use it. So whether you are praying to God, praying to Jesus, if you are calling in your ancestors, your guides, if you are, working with gods and goddesses, whatever that means to you, it's there for you. That magic is available to you, that the divine is there for you, and you get to use it. It's a choice. It's a choice for you to step into that part of you. And I'm not saying that you have to become a religious leader. I'm not saying that you have to become a spiritual leader and start reading cards and all the things like I do. But that is still available to you. We all have an intuition. We all come from the same source creator, right? So tapping into the magic that's available for you, surrendering to that prayer and to the devotion to whatever your belief system is. A lot of you have a lot of big questions right now, and this is something else that was coming through. A lot of you have small things right now that you're not realizing how big or how great of an impact that would actually have on your life. So if that's you and you're like, well, I'm not really going through anything big right now, I don't really have anything important happening, those small micro moments are just as big. And again, when you start finding the magic in every little moment and finding the magic in every little thing that you're doing, you start to feel that. You start to realize that, wow, that one little shift created a ripple out into the rest of my life. And the entire trajectory of my life changed. And for some of you, and I want to go back to the new moon thing, because we are stepping into Aries season, which I say is like the astrological new year, the zodiac new year. So when we talk about like release, like a lot of times it's kind of like cliche to be like, it's a full moon, do a release ritual. It's not always that way. And if you follow me a while, I'm not even into releasing under a full moon, because the full moon is really the time for gratitude, harvest, really like sitting present with everything that you've cultivated and created in your life and grateful, being grateful for you or for all that you have. And you start releasing a little while after that as you lead into the new moon. So now that here we are in the new moon, it's like, what still needs to go? And a lot of times I think that, especially with Mercury retrograde and new moons and these equinoxes and these big events that everyone pays attention to, these portals that everyone pays attention to, we expect it to be like, oh my gosh, I lost my job, or I quit my job, or oh, I ended this friendship, or oh, it's like this big, and I'm hearing the word drama. Like, it doesn't have to be drama. Sometimes it's, I'm going to stop biting my nails. I don't know who that's for, maybe my daughter, but I'm going to stop biting my nails. I'm going to stop overthinking. I'm going to start, right? Because new moon is about setting those intentions. I'm going to start pausing for a moment. This is that like emotional intelligence thing, that emotional IQ. I'm going to pause and take a beat before I respond to things. These little micro changes, these little micro things that you do, you can let go of beliefs. You can let go of habits. You can let go of, yes, relationships, jobs, homes, all the things. But sometimes that one little thing that you do creates this ripple effect out into the rest of your life. So know that even if you are not experiencing this big dramatic, I don't know why that word is coming through so strongly, it doesn't have to feel like drama to feel like a change is happening. My brother said something years ago, to my mom, and it was like about a person, and he said, you know, they don't know they're alive unless they're bleeding. And I don't know why that's coming through. I mean, I was probably like in my teens, early 20s when I remember hearing him say that. And we all know people like that. We all know people that are like, gosh, this person really doesn't even know they're alive unless they're bleeding. It's like they have to have something big, something dramatic, something bold happening in their life to realize something is happening, something is shifting. And that's just not the case. So the message here in that for you also is finding the power in the micro moments, in the micro shifts. I just keep hearing micro, micro, micro. So paying close attention to these micro things in your life and how they're actually creating this ripple effect and this huge impact in your life is going to, because I feel like also like milestones. So instead it's like everybody wants to quantum leap. Of course we want to go from A to Z and bypass all the hard parts and the tricky parts and the space in between. Yeah, I know, because we're human. We want that. And at the same time, though, there's so much magic in those moments, right? That it's like, appreciate each little milestone along the way as well. So I don't know how we got here from the like angel numbers and the messages from past loved ones and spirit, but also I really feel that the message in this is like in the micro is, you know, when you see 333 and it stands out to you, instead of just, oh, there's 333. It's like, oh, that's an angel number. Pause. What am I doing? What am I thinking about? What's the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that related to what I'm thinking about and doing right now? That's how I've learned to really embrace the magic of the little things in life, the micro moments, right? It's like when you're thinking about someone and they call you. I had a situation yesterday where, you know, a really good friend of mine had a situation that she called me about, and she said something with it. And I was like, wait a minute. I just said this 3 hours ago. Like 3 hours ago, that was happening for her. And it's like, we still sat together on the phone last night. Like, oh my gosh, we both got full body chills. It's like really embracing the magic of all these little micro moments and stop being like, oh, that was a coincidence. That's not a vibe, right? Like get into the vibe, get into the magic of life and surrender over to it and not feel that you're on this journey alone, not feel like everything is up to you. And if you're like me, I get it. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I sometimes am the person that's like, I want it done right. I need to do it myself. I'm just going to get this done. I'm just going to do it. I get it. I get it. If you're like me, I feel you on that, okay? And I feel like for some of you who chose this card here, that might be you. And here's the thing. You don't have to be on this journey alone. You are worthy of receiving help, support, and guidance. Remember, whether it's here or in the unseen world, okay? Open yourself up and ask for it. And also, like, ask for your needs to be met. Instead of, you know, and I always use this as an example. You all know my husband, Stu. He's amazing. He helps cook. He helps with laundry. He will help me with anything that I need. And it's not really because I've asked him. It's just like, that's the dynamic in our relationship. We help each other, right? And I remember the first time he ever did laundry and he folded the towels and the towels came upstairs and I was like, who taught you to fold? Like, what is this? But I was like, I am not saying anything. Like, he did the freaking laundry. He folded the towel. I'm not saying anything, right? And it's like, that is really the message in here for some of you that are like that, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to do it myself. Like, it's easier if I just do it myself. Just allow, like, soften a little bit and allow the support in your life. Allow, and again, whether it's human or the unseen world, allow that support in your life and allow for all of this to unfold in your life and ask for your needs to be met. And then allow there to be, like, everything doesn't have to be perfect, right? Like, allow space for imperfection, because that's really where things get fun. That's where there's like, and again, I keep wanting to say, like, that's where the magic happens in these little micro moments where it's like, oh, that was a slip up, but I'm still so freaking grateful, you know, and really finding a way to embrace that side of you. I'm hearing that I want to be really clear that this is not a judgment. This is not a criticism. You can tell by my tone and the way I'm delivering this message, like, I'm laughing with you right now. Your guides are laughing with you right now. And for you, I'm almost seeing some of you like, I think she's talking to me, you know? Here's the beauty of awareness is, like, we get to see that in ourselves and be like, oh gosh, yeah, I am like that. Okay. And that's your little intention of the thing that you're going to shift. So again, it doesn't have to be this dramatic, I'm quitting the job, I'm selling the house, I'm moving, I'm doing this. It doesn't always have to be that. Sometimes it can just be like, you know what? I'm going to start asking for help. I'm going to start allowing people to support me. And if you're close to me, you know this. If you're one of my clients, you know this. My favorite saying is, do not block your blessings. If somebody is coming up to you and wants to support you, you do not block your blessings and send that signal out to the universe and say no, okay? So it's like, oh, let me pay for your coffee. Let me treat you to dinner. Let me treat you to lunch. No, no, no. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. No, let me pay for you. There's no more of that. There's no more of that. Say thank you. Open up, receive, accept. You are worthy. You deserve it. And it is available to you. Open yourself up to receiving it. If it's an angel number, if it's a message from a loved one, if it is a blessing of abundance, somebody wants to pay for your coffee, holds the door for you. Start finding the magic and the blessings in the micro moments. And the more that you acknowledge them, the more that this opens up and you receive. The more you receive, more. The more comes from really, like, embracing and finding the magic in the micro moments. So that was message number 1. That was a lot. We got a whole lot from that. I also want to just point out one little thing here. Do you see this little, like, dish in her hand, this cup in her hand? She's literally holding a blessing in her hand, okay? And she's praying over this empty cup. The empty cup is really symbolic of, like, her feeling like her cup has runneth over or actually depleted. Okay. And she's praying for a life where her cup is runneth over. Okay. And this is where you're being asked to surrender to the power of asking for help, to the power of calling in the divine for support. If you are pouring from an empty cup, your cup is about to be filled. The one small change that you need to make, the one step you have to take is to allow your cup to be poured into. So again, I mean, that could be so many things, everything that we just talked about, but allow your cup to be poured into. Surrender it over. Ooh, surrender it over. Okay. Asking for help on earth, asking for help from above, your guides, your ancestors, your divine team. They are here. They're willing to help you. They want to help you. And all you have to do is open up. You got to ask, you got to receive, and you got to allow it. So next time somebody offers to do something for you, next time, you know, a blessing comes into your life, do not block it. Bless it. Say thank you, acknowledge it, more please. Let me just tell you, if I find like a dime or a penny on the floor, I pick it up. I'm like, oh, thank you, Spirit, more please. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Creator, whoever you talk to. More please. That's it. It's so simple. Just the thank you and more please. And that is the current, like, the currency that I'm putting out into the universe. So recapping that again is like getting back to the micro moments, really surrendering over and asking for help, and finding the magic, romanticizing your life, finding the magic in all the things. Whew, okay, we are leaving that one go now. We are moving into message number 2. Oh, I forgot to talk about this. One small thing in message number 1 is that the card number is 30. In numerology, that reduces down to 3. 3 plus 0 is 3. 3 to me is always that feeling of like community too, like a group. Do you ever hear the saying like 2 is company, 3 is a crowd or something like that? I love that too, because when we're talking about calling in support, right? It's like cultivating a community of support around you. And again, I want to keep emphasizing this. It's like here on earth and above, like as above, so below, as within, so without. Remember all of that. Okay. You are not alone. Even when you might be alone in the room, you're not alone. And if that creeps you out, I'm sorry. It's just the way it goes. Okay. That was message number 1. Moving on to card number 2. Message number 2, for those of you who chose both, you are going to understand why you chose both as this flows into that. Message number 2. Go ahead and screenshot that. And I love this for so many reasons. And again, if you screenshot and it's reversed, you can go into the crop in your camera roll and you can just flip it so that it's right side for you. There is medicine in my shadow. This card is 37. 3 plus 7 is 10. I love this. Some of these messages, I'm telling you, are like bold and direct. And I used to have a hard time delivering them because I always wanted to be like, oh yeah, you're amazing, keep going. And that's just not always the message that you need to hear. So I had to kind of get myself out of the way and really bring through what's happening here. There is some avoidance happening for those of you who chose card number 2. And what I mean by avoidance is avoidance of the shadow. And I was thinking about this today in the shower because this is just what happens. Like when I do the pick of cards, anytime somebody like commits to a reading with me, like there's an exchange, right? Like I chose a number, I sent you payment and booked a reading, whatever it is. I sit and I wait. And once I start getting the messages, I'm like, okay, this is it. It's time. So this started happening for me today. I started actually getting messages about this card here. And the message I was getting about the avoidance is in the shadow. And what I was hearing is for some of you to look up Carl Jung. It's actually spelled Jung if you're not familiar. Look up Carl Jung and into his theories on the shadow. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not sure who that's for. Could be for all of you, could be for some of you, could only be for one of you. But look into that and really understanding the shadow and what it means. I think a lot of us hear shadow and we think dark and scary and we fear it. But the truth is that in order to reach the light, in order to heal, right? In order to go through this journey, you have to go through the shadow. You have to face the shadow. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I'm a Scorpio, okay? Shadow for me is like, this is my wheelhouse. I'm comfy here. So a lot of times people might even think I'm avoiding my shadow because I'm so comfortable in it that you don't see me spiraling out and spinning out because I'm used to being in the shadow. I'm used to doing the shadow work, right? So a lot of people, again, don't fully understand what that looks like and what that means. I have so much self-awareness that I'm not afraid to sit with myself and go, you're acting like a nut right now. Like, why do you feel like this? Why are you thinking like this? Like, I will have these conversations with myself. Luckily, I'm alone a lot during the day to do that. But I will have these conversations with myself. Like, I can't even stand myself right now. I'm being annoying with these thoughts. Like, why am I so stressed? Why am I so emotionally reactive to this? But I will not, and going back to message number 1, I have enough emotional intelligence that I will not go out and emotionally react. Like, I will respond. I will honor my emotions and I'll respond, but I will not react. And there's the difference there, right? So for those of you who chose both, this is the fun part, because this is where if you're someone who kind of like teeter-totters back and forth between emotional reaction and emotional response, there's an avoidance in the feelings that are coming up for you in the shadow. And I'm feeling that there might be a little bit of like shame around it. Hi, Angela. There's a little bit of shame around it. Like, it's a part of you that you're not super proud of, but you also don't want to face, because it's like, hey, if I go there, I'm going to have to feel this. I'm going to have to really think this about myself. I'm going to have to really like go there. And okay, thank you. Okay, I have to separate this a minute. So I'm hearing like compartmentalizing, and how some people have this like idea of compartmentalizing. Sorry, I want to write this. I don't want to. can't write fast enough. Sorry. Okay, so when you are facing the shadow part, the feeling, the thought, the experience, it can be a lot. So we kind of bury it away a little bit, and it's like, okay, compartmentalizing is like, I'm going to put this over here. It's that saying like leave work at work and home at home. Like you don't want to bring home to work and don't bring work to home kind of thing. And I get that, but you got to be mindful, because what ends up happening is we put it up on this shelf to get to later. And like, when is there ever really a good time? When is there ever really a good time to just be like, you know what, I'm going to sit and cry about that thing that happened 3 years ago? We're not thinking about that. We're not doing that, right? And understanding, and I talk a lot about this inside my program, the subconscious algorithm, I call it, is like understanding, how did this get here? Why did it get here? Processing through it. Self-love, self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, self-trust. We move through each of those steps, right? Because they're a part of this process. And the more that you do it, yes, you can start to do it very quickly. Like I said, I'm a Scorpio, so these things happen pretty quickly for me now. I've mastered that at a very young age, because as a Scorpio, the whole transformation process and rebirth, I got to be careful what I say on here, that whole process of renewal is a part of, like, if you're a Scorpio, I know you feel this. It's like, or depending on where you have Scorpio placements in your chart, you might feel that in a specific sector of your life, specifically if it's like money, if it's health, if it's career, you know? Okay, rein this back in. This is a process, and you have to go through and you have to face it. We have to be mindful with compartmentalizing, that we're not placing it up on the shelf and forgetting to go back to it. Okay. So there is medicine in my shadow. Your question right now, that thing that you're trying to reach, the questions that you have, the places you're trying to go, the desires you're trying to achieve, the goals you're trying to hit, whatever your question is, the answer is facing the shadow, is going within. And what I'm hearing is, for some of you, is sorry, I have to write these down because I don't even, okay, let's go for somebody. I have to write these down because they go so fast sometimes. The shadow for some of you is going to be in belief. There's some self-worth. And I wrote down the word natural, but what I was trying to say is like, conditioning was the word I was thinking of, and I wrote the word natural, so maybe that's for some of you. We'll see where that comes from, or where that goes. I mean, belief, worth, all these things that I'm saying as part of the shadow is like that thing that you're like, I keep wanting to go like this, it's like you're trying so hard to get there. It's like, why didn't this happen? Why can't I'm doing all the things? Why can't I get there? Or it's like, what is it going to take? What do I need to do to get there? You're asking the right questions. The answer is probably not an answer that you want. That's the only caveat to this, okay? So I get it. And I'm hearing that saying like things get worse before they get better, but here's what I mean by that. I don't want you, like, I'm not saying if you're going through like a financial hardship, I'm not saying it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's not what I mean by that. What I mean by this is internally you have to go through, it's gonna be a rocky feeling it out before, you know that saying like you got to feel it to heal it? You got to feel it so you can heal it. I always, you guys know, if you follow me, you already know how I feel about like dancing around on beaches in white dresses and making it all love and light. And yes, that's beautiful. Yes, I've been there. Yes, that is a whole vibe, but you don't get there automatically. You don't get there without first being balled up in fetal position, crying so hysterically that snot is flying, your pillows are covered, and you lose your purpose, and like you have no idea what the purpose even is of life anymore. You don't get to that point until you go through that. And I'm not saying that to scare you, but truthfully, like, we have to feel our feelings. We have to go through the shadow parts of ourselves. And sometimes that means taking a good, hard look at ourselves and having self-accountability, self-responsibility. And thank you. Someone's listening right now, or will be listening, that is hearing that message and it's not for you. Okay? And with so much love, I'm going to give this message and move right along, because this is, if this is you, you know it's you. You actually already tend to take the blame for everything. Okay? So Spirit is asking me to clarify that if you are someone that isn't a really, I'm sorry, I'm starting to feel a little bit of emotions about it. If you're in an unhealthy situation and you keep excusing it and you're like, well, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. What did I do? What do I have to do? That message is not for you. Okay? You know what you need to do, is what I'm hearing. And gosh, they kind of slowed me down and I had to take a breath here a little bit because I want to be mindful. So remember, this is a collective reading. So these messages are for a lot of people at one time and it's live. So I have to be careful. The messages that were coming through are accurate for those who it's accurate for. However, again, there is someone or a couple someones that, like, we're not telling you to take more blame. We're actually telling you to stop taking all the blame and all the responsibility and start placing responsibility on other people. Okay. And that is also a part of your shadow. Okay. That is also a shadow. It's like a self-worth, self-concept, like it must be me, there must be something wrong with me, I must have done something wrong. That is also a part of the shadow to walk through and to face and to work through. Whether it is, going to therapy, if it is doing some spiritual work, hiring a coach, going through some programs, whatever it is that you need to do, it's like gifting that to yourself, okay? So, but again, the message remains, like, you have to face the shadow to get to that thing you're trying to call in, you're trying to create. And here's the thing about this is, like, we hold it in our energy, we hold it in our minds, we hold it in our hearts, we hold it in our bodies, okay? There are multiple bodies, okay? There's your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, energetic bodies. And we hold things in each layer there of those, okay? So working through this, some of it's going to be mental, some of it's going to be emotional, some of it is physical through the somatic work, right? And some of it is energetic. That's why you can't just go down one path. So if you're someone, thank you so much. This is someone who's like, oh, this could even be for me. You've done therapy and you're like, well, I did therapy and it didn't work. So it's not that, right? Don't stop there. Sorry, my thing keeps timing out here. Don't stop there. If you went to therapy and that didn't seem to work and that didn't seem to help, what that actually is evidence for you that it wasn't mental or maybe even emotional, right? Maybe it's deeper than that. It could be rooted in your body. It could be in the energetic field. So exploring all of this and not giving up on yourself when you're like, I've done all the things that I feel, I'm exhausted of all the work that I have done. It just may be that you're working on the wrong layer, okay? So that spun out. But what I love about this is it's number 37. 37, 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 is closure. 10 is an ending. And then 10 can also reduce to 1 because 1 plus 0 is 1, right? So that's why I love 10. It's like an ending for a new beginning. And again, that's like, I'm a Scorpio, so I love this, right? I don't love it when I'm going through it, but I'm like, I love this because that means this hard period leads to something amazing. And for me, because I've done the inner work, and again, because I'm a Scorpio, it's like, I know that now. Now I know when things get a little crazy, I'm like, yes, something is coming. It's very hard when you're new to that or when you're in the thick of it, right? When you're in the thick of it, it is hard to be like, yes, thank goodness things are so hard right now. That's very hard to do. But this is a message for you, a knowing for you that what this shadow aspect of yourself, this darkness that you're walking through right now, is leading you. It is part of your purpose. Like I said, remember those moments where you're like curled up in a fetal position and you're just like, what even is the purpose of life? that right there, that moment is a part of your purpose. So it's like, what is that saying? Like, let your mess become your message or something like that. It's kind of that same concept. Like, you have to walk through this shadow. You have to walk through this darkness. You can't just act like everything's fine. And for some of you, it's like using unhealthy coping mechanisms. And I'm not calling anybody out, okay? This can be, sure, it can be drinking, it can be drugs, it can be all those things, but it can also just be mindlessly scrolling Facebook and TikTok. It can also be watching TV instead of working on your business. If you're like, gosh, why won't my business grow? I don't know, because you're watching TV and you're not working on your business, and that's not, listen, I'm not, because I hate that bro hustle culture, like, don't watch TV. I remember, because I've been in network marketing forever, and I know there was one company years ago, I was not a part of it, but I worked with a couple leaders from there, and they said the message in that company was, there's no BV in TV, and BV is like business volume. There's no BV in TV, and I'm like, stop it. But the truth is it's like when it becomes avoidance, and that was the whole message around this card, is it's like, are you watching TV avoiding the hard parts of your business? Are you, and I'll even do this with certain cleaning things, like, and tell me if you can relate to this. If you're someone who is like, I don't mind doing the dishes, the dishwasher, cleaning the kitchen. I don't mind doing the laundry, but for the love, I do not want to put the laundry away. Like, so I'll be like, yeah, I really got to put that laundry away, but you know what? Look at the carpet. I really have to vacuum. Like, yes, Angie, it is so gross. And I'm like, vacuuming is my avoidance to putting the laundry away, because it's like, oh, let me just go pretend I have to do this instead, right? So that is really what this is about, is like avoidance. What coping mechanisms and what habits have you developed? And that can be a part of your shadow that's got to be faced, right? That's it. So it's like, what part of the shadow needs to be faced? What are you avoiding? And the medicine, the magic is usually in the thing you're avoiding. So again, if you are someone that's like leaning on unhealthy or misaligned coping mechanisms, because it's like, I don't want to think about the trauma in my life. I don't want to think about the hard moments right now. I don't want to think about this. This message is really about, first of all, yes, there's medicine in this. And also it's like finding I'm not a big fan of the word balance, because I don't think we're ever fully in balance, but like a harmonization, right? Like finding some harmony between, I'm going back to this compartmentalizing, like, sure, sometimes you got to put it on the shelf, but make sure you take it back down within like a healthy amount of time. And I'm not talking like a year and 6 months. I'm saying, like, if something comes up and you really are having a difficult time, but you have to leave and go to work, or you have to go to your kid's soccer game, or you have to go do this, and it's like, I got to put this away right now. After that soccer game, after your day at work, after this is done, come home and revisit it. If you need a good cry, if you need to get into the shower and cry it out, if you need to sit in your car and cry it out, if you have to, maybe it's not cry, maybe it's that you need to actually visit it and strategize on something. Maybe it's that you have to give attention to it, right? Whatever it is, just make sure that you take it down off the shelf and that you face it. So with this, there was a big message around avoidance. And the other thing that I'm noticing here is this like loop, right? And if you look at her headdress, it's an owl. The owl is all about magic and wisdom. Wisdom and magic, okay? So think about this. When you're facing your shadow, you're gaining self-awareness, gaining wisdom about yourself, about life, okay? And that there's some real magic and medicine in that. And it's like wrapped around her headdress here, right? It's like wrapped around her head. But then I want you to look at this like circle, okay? This loop that she's inside of. And we talked about that over here. Like I was seeing that infinity symbol and said, you're going to break this loop. That is the 10. When you face this, you end a chapter that opens a door into the healing, into the something new, into the desire. That is the whole picture of this card. That thing that you're avoiding, that feeling, that situation, that conversation, that person. And, again, like, I'm not saying if you had to set a boundary, that's done, okay? That's done. Maybe you have to set a boundary, okay? That is done. I'm not saying go back and revisit that. I'm saying revisit the feeling. Allow yourself to feel whatever came up with that. And then I'm also hearing something about grief, and this will be the last message of this. I'm hearing something about grief for some of you. And I want to just remind you that there are different forms of grief. There is grief, yes, when a person passes on, but a lot of times grieving a living person doesn't get enough attention that it deserves, okay? And because of that, we often don't really know how to navigate that kind of grief, okay? There is anticipatory grief. When you know something is coming to an end, when you know that a chapter is closing, maybe a person is transitioning, maybe a relationship is ending, right? There's anticipatory grief when you know that it's coming. And then there's also the grief that follows it. When the person has not passed on, but you had to set a boundary, you had to close a door, you had to end a chapter. You can grieve a former place of work. You can grieve a former place that you've lived, right? You can grieve anything. And it's like allowing yourself to grieve what was. And knowing that there's different stages, there's different types of grief, and allowing yourself to feel that. And again, a lot of you might have accidentally, permanently compartmentalized, like put it up on the shelf and forgot that it was up there, and it's collecting a whole lot of dust, right? So we got to pull that down and we've got to face it. And that is the very thing. And it's like, I'm hearing this may go back a while. Okay, this might go, you got to get down to the root of that and really feel it out, really navigate that, really sit with that and face it. And the reason we call it a shadow, again, if you missed this part, look up The Concept by Carl Jung. I love his like theory on the shadow self. It is not, there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to feel guilty about. There's nothing to judge yourself about. Every single thing in here, there's a duality in everything. There's a dark and a light. There's a shadow and a light, okay? Everything in this world has its opposite. So when we want to achieve joy, how will you ever appreciate or know what joy feels like if you don't know what the opposite feels like? If you want to experience success, wealth, prosperity, how will you ever really understand that feeling if you don't know the opposite? So just know that like that part that you're in right now, this heaviness, the part that you're avoiding is that duality that you've got to feel so you can heal it and then achieve it. Okay. So that was message number 2. And for those of you who chose both, I think you're probably understanding how the two of them come together is like that thing that you're trying to, or that you're avoiding is the help, the assistance, the support, connection to the divine part of you, right? That's the thing you're avoiding because you're very much in your head and you're very like, I got to do it on my own. I have to make this happen. And you're stuck in this like, get it forward, get it forward, get it forward energy that you're forgetting to surrender it, that you're forgetting there is also prayer, there's devotion, there's divine support, and then there's collaboration here on earth too. There's support here on earth too. So like I said, if it's therapy, if it's coaching, if it's learning something new, right? Talking to a friend, whatever it is, you might not be avoiding the person or the support, but you're just avoiding that part of yourself, right? So that's for those of you who chose both, that is the avoidance thing here, okay, is what we talked about in one. So, whew, okay. Thank you very much to all of you who were on here this whole time and who have dropped comments, shown love. I am so grateful for you. This is something I enjoy doing. When I feel the call to do it, I hop in here and I do it. And I'm just so grateful for all of you always supporting me and sticking around. Share this out, whatever. This will end up on the podcast. It'll end up on YouTube and all the places. So, and I think it stays on Facebook. I don't know, like 30 days or something. But that said, come back and listen again if you need to. If you want to re-listen again and again, you can do that. I am currently booking private readings, one-on-one readings. The way my readings work are a little different than most expect. What you do is you complete a form. You get either a full 30 minutes or a full hour, depending on the reading that you choose. Thank you, Debbie. Love you. Depending on the reading style that you choose, you get a full hour or a full 30 minutes of channeling recorded and sent to you. No, I do not have to talk to you. No, I do not have to be on a Zoom or a phone call with you. I can connect in with your energy. Your consent is by the payment that you send. hand and completing the form. That is your consent. I am able to connect in with your energy. I have not had a reading yet that was not accurate, or somebody was like, I don't think that one was for me. I have not had that yet in the few years that I have been doing it this way. So that's my reading style. That's how it works. My wait list was 4 to 6 weeks, you guys. I had to change it to 6 to 8 because I pride myself in being like, it's 4 to 6 weeks, and I got it done at 3 and 4. But I got a little closer to 6 weeks just with everything going on, and as many readings are coming in. I mean, I was also doing the year ahead reading. So all of that said, it's taking a little bit longer right now to get to them. So make sure if you want one before the summer comes, go ahead and book it now, schedule that now, and it'll be delivered right to your inbox within that 6 to 8 week time frame. And of course, if I ever am able to get them done sooner, I always do, because I like those sweet little surprises in my inbox too. So I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here, for listening in, for participating. This allows me to give back. It allows you to give back by being here. And these experiences just create such an abundant exchange of energy for all of us. And I love it. So for those of you that participate, mwah, you're amazing. And I will see you next time.